tying up another Carrie Stevens streamer from the Hilliard book on Carrie Stevens flies. This is the Indian Rock, a very straightforward fly, very similar to a number that I've done recently, the Rangeley Favorite series and the Carrie's Fancy. If you're new to the channel and this is the first time you've seen me tie one of these, I'm slowly working through all of the flies in the Hilliard book on Carrie Stevens streamers. I love these patterns. Very interested in her method of tying and how these were put together. And so that's what I'm doing now. This video is going to kind of try to speed up a little bit some of the process on these, because what I'm doing is very similar to a number of different flies. And I mention that as I go through and tie this. The Rangeley Favorite series and the Carrie's Fancy, some that I did recently, that throw all the bodies together, like the silver tinsel and the belly and throat. They're all the same. So just trying to shorten these videos up a little bit, give you a little bit of background on them, and make it a little bit funner, I guess. So that is the Indian Rock, and I'll get started tying. Start the Indian Rock with my hook in the vise. This is a Partridge CS15 and a size 4, 10x long streamer hook. I'll debarb the hook. I'm going to attach my thread. For thread, I'm starting out with a Danville 3/0 in a white. Now this is just a tinsel body, so I don't have to have the white, but I do find if I get any gaps in the tinsel body, then the white keeps them from showing up as much. I'm also going to be doing a double layer tinsel body. I'm not going to show every step of the way here, because it seems the last 5 or 6 different videos I've done on these Carrie Stevens streamers, the bodies, the bellies, the throats, they all kind of are very, very similar. So I'm going to refer you to a number of different videos that if you want to see the completed step of me going through, like right now, putting a layer of thread along the hook shank, you can watch it there. So I'm going to start with my thread right behind the eye of the hook a little bit, closing up the return of the eye and just advancing my thread down. I'm going to put a base layer of thread along the hook shank and back up, so that when I apply the tinsel body, I'm going to put a little bit of flex cement on it to help secure that tinsel, Mylar tinsel, down to the shank of the hook. So with a layer of thread down along the hook shank, I will now tie in the tinsel body. I'm using a Danville silver and gold Mylar tinsel in a size 10. You get about 13 to 14 inches of this. You want to make certain you have enough that you don't run out. I'm going to tie it in with the gold side up, and then I'm going to press this over, make a little crease with the silver side up, like this. This is where I'm going to apply some flex cement right here, Dave's Flex Cement, a thin coat, which will help hold that tinsel down to the hook shank. If you've watched any of the other videos I've done, I've done the same thing, and I've explained that this Mylar tinsel has a lot of memory to it. And so much so that if you're tying this and your fingers get all confused and you lose hold of it, even on a double layer, it almost unwraps all the way back to the beginning. There's so much memory in it. So this helps, because if you're fishing it and that tinsel gets torn up, then the fly won't all fall apart on you. Now I'm just going to go ahead and apply the tinsel. I'm not going to show every step of this. I'm going to basically show you the first few steps, and then the last few steps. I would refer you to the Rangeley Favorite #1, where recently I did the Carrie's Favorite, and I show all these steps. So I'll finish with a couple wraps of the silver tinsel right up here in the head space. And then we'll secure that. This little bump right here will get covered up by the wing and the head and everything. I'm going to advance my thread rearward to just behind the return, the eye return right here. And this is where I'm going to tie in the belly. Again, all of the Rangeley Favorite series that I did, 1, 2, and 3, have a white belly in them. Recently, the Carrie's Favorite also, and these are the only ones that come to mind. Many of them have the same components. So I'm going to refer you to those in terms of getting the bucktail, just some white bucktail here, out, stacking that and whatnot, and then tying that in. I'm going to secure the belly in with my white thread. The Indian rock has a black head with a red band. So at this time, I'm going to advance my white thread forward and change over to my red thread, which is a Danville 70 Denier in red. There's a throat on the Indian rock, and it is white hackles. I'm using some white schlappen for this. I've already got 3 tufts selected here. I'm going to tie this in so it goes down about halfway down the body. Tying one in further back the end of the head space here, and then trimming these off. And that's right in the center. I'm going to advance forward just a little bit. Now I'm going to tie 2 more that are just in front and a little on the sides. Still trying to figure out a little bit of how Carrie Stevens actually tied in her throats and things like this. And this is kind of my latest information. The idea is that you're moving the thread forward and you're covering up previous thread wraps. So with the resulting wing and fly and everything, you don't see a lot of exposed thread wraps. The wing on the Indian rock starts out with some peacock herl, just 4 to 6 strands. Again, if you want to see a little bit more about that, I refer you to any of the Rangeley series that I did or the Carrie's Favorite. Not all of her flies have peacock herl in them, and actually the Rangeley Favorites may not. But I know the Carrie's Favorite did. I'm going to take 4 to 6 strands. These are going to be tied in on top. They're the first part of the wing, same length as the bucktail. And then we'll tie in the actual wing. One thing I want to note on this is if you tie a lot of her different flies, you'll start to see a lot of similarities. And there's a reason for that, I think. The part of it is this was a woman who was a production tyer. She tied these for a living. She had to streamline and she had to make this as efficient as possible to keep her costs down. So if you think about it, if she had a whole bunch of bodies with silver tinsel already on them, white bucktail in there, and a white throat, she has right here before I put in that peacock herl, she has a half dozen, maybe even a dozen different patterns that she does. She has the basis for them. So if she wants to do a Carrie's Favorite, she simply takes these out of a box, puts them in the vise, or gets them out. She tied by hand, gets them out, ties in some peacock curl, and then she grabs the wings for the Carrie's favorites and ties them in. If she's going to do a bunch of Indian rocks, she's already got these done. Now she may even go as far as having the belly, the throat, and the first part of the wing tied in. So she's got a stack of 30 or 40 of these, in a bin. She gets an order for a certain fly that requires it, or with minor modifications, she takes it out, modifies it, puts that wing in. It's done. She doesn't have to do the whole thing from start to finish. So as a production tyer, you look for that downtime when you're not actually producing flies you're selling to do this sort of thing and catch up. So now the wings on the Indian rock are a red hackle, 2 red hackles, 1 on each side, and on the outside is another olive hackle. So 2 red hackles, 2 olive hackles, and then just the cheek of jungle cock. Again, I will refer you to some of the other videos when I talk a little bit more about the dimensions and size of these and how I prep these. There's also a couple of different videos on the wing prep on these that I do, and I'll have links in the descriptions down below for all of those. I'm going to trim off the majority of the rest of that rachis. I'm going to tie these in, one on my side here, on the upper side of the eye of the hook here, but towards me. It's not exactly in the middle on top here. I'm leaving room on the other side for the other wing. And here's the other thing. She did prep her wings ahead of time, similar to what I've done videos on. And again, if you think about it, after a while, you get a sense of what patterns are popular. So when you have downtime, you spend some time making up wings for a gray ghost or, Colonel Bates or whatever it is that she is tying that she needs to. She has a little log of, how many she wants to have on hand at any one time. May even have information about what's good each season and be prepared to have a bunch of things tied up for each season. So with the wings tied in, all I'm doing is tidying up the head here. I'm shaping it, and I'm making certain the butt ends of those wings or the rachis stubs there are all covered up. Everything's masked over with the red thread. And smooth this off. And then I'm going to attach, when I secure this, I'm going to attach my black thread to make the bands. So here, a little bit of wax on my thread, and that is so that when I do this whip finish, I don't have to be concerned about thread popping out from underneath the wraps in that whip finish, and it stays nice and secure. For the black thread, I'm using a Danville 70 Denier in black. I will refer you to those other videos also, which are all linked down in the description. If you want a little bit more detail as to why I do the red first and then the black, I'm just going to go ahead and attach the black in the rear portion here. This is to make the rear band. Again, a little bit of wax on my thread. This is also so that when I do the whip finish, this black will not pop out from under itself. I'm only putting about 4 turns in this whip finish here, and I just need it to hold together well enough when I get the head cement on here and then a couple of coats of lacquer. I occasionally have threads pop out from under, and I usually will just leave them ragged. I get those first 2 coats on and then cut them nice and flush as I do the last coat of lacquer on here. Now I'll reattach my thread in front to put the front band in. Again, a little bit of wax and a whip finish. Put some fly tight head cement on this. It's an alcohol based head cement that's real thin. That's just to get down in those thread wraps and secure all those thread wraps, and then I'll come back and I'll put 2 coats of a clear lacquer on here to just protect the thread as you're fishing this fly. Or it does make it look a little bit nicer, but I'm not looking for a real nice glossy head on this. And certainly you could, if you were doing some of these to frame and to present to somebody, you could put a nice glossy head on this just to make it look a little bit prettier. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's the Indian rock, another colorful Carrie Stevens streamer pattern. Very similar to many other ones that she has done, as you will see. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.